Welcome to Studio Pilates TV, episode 8, and we have the amazing Jenna Drummond, who is the owner of 3 Gold Coast studios in Australia. Welcome, Jenna. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, no worries. Jenna, we're going to dive right in because we want to know what makes you tick and how you've created such success within this brand. And you know, there's plenty of people that want to hear more and know you and how you've actually, arrived at this point of a multi-site owner and an incredibly successful one at that. So first of all, Jenna, could you share a bit about yourself and your journey, from being an elite athlete to a successful business owner? As many people may not know that you were a professional soccer player with the Matildas, an incredible achievement. Can you tell us about your journey in sports before stepping into the world of Pilates? Give us some background. Yeah,
absolutely. I haven't played soccer for a long time now, so there's been a big gap between finishing playing and then into the business. But I debuted for the Matildas in 2007 when I was 20 years old, which was fantastic. It's always been, the lifelong dream to play for your country, and I achieved that. But unfortunately, the next day, things didn't go to plan, and I tore my anterior cruciate ligament in my right knee, which led to a full knee reconstruction. So I debuted, did my knee, had to have a whole year of rehabilitation. And like a lot of athletes, things don't go to plan. So I pushed through that one to get back into the team. A year later, went to an Asian Cup, got on a couple of tours, and then was in the inaugural A-League, or it was called the W League back then, for Brisbane Roar, and the second game I did my other knee. So I don't think I was meant to play soccer, to be honest. And then had another year of rehab. So that's a couple of years basically in the physio, and then came back and played in the W League again, or the A League, what it's called now, for Brisbane Roar, and did my meniscus in my knee, so required another surgery, and then both my feet had issues, so I had to have them operated on too. And back then we basically got paid a bit of pocket money to play. We really played because we loved it, as everybody does now, but there's certainly you get a bit more for playing now these days. So I had to think about my career and the future and what's going to happen when I do finish. So I weighed it all up and I decided that was it now. I couldn't go through another long rehab and get back in, and the highs and the lows, I guess, that sport brings you. So I just went into uni and finished off my teaching degree. So I was a primary school teacher. And whilst I was doing that, I was a PT, so I was still within the fitness industry. You could never take me away from it. I love being around sports and being active. And then 10 years later, 10 years later after I retired from sport, I opened up my first Studio Pilates studio, having no business experience at all, which is fantastic.
What an incredible achievement, Jenna, to come back from those disappointments. One of those disappointments, like an injury and a year of rehab, will be enough for 99.9% of athletes to quit right there and then. So it's a true indication of your grit and determination to do that 3-4 times. It's incredible. So that's an achievement that you should be extremely proud of.
Thank you.
Particularly facing that adversity, rising to that challenge, and then and getting back on the field at that level. So my hat's off to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Incredible work, because there's no easy task.
No, it's definitely not easy, but there's always someone worse off than you as well. So I was fortunate. I had support staff with the Matildas. We had the surgeon that we could go to, and we had the physios and the strength and conditioning people to help you. So that was all really good. But and I had an awesome family as well. So yeah, pretty lucky.
Absolutely. Can you share some of the key leadership lessons that you learned from your time in sports, that really have been invaluable in running a business? Because the inside workings of a pro sporting, like an elite sporting team like that, must be incredibly interesting. What have you drawn from that and applied to your business?
With leadership, I think to be a good leader, there's obviously several things that need to come into play, but I'm really big on really effective communication and explicit communication. I think in sport you need that as a leader, just to make sure that your team that's working for you are doing what's required for the team. And that's also giving them expectations as well. So if they don't know what's required, then they're not going to work as hard as what they could, and then you're not going to achieve what you could as well. So bringing that into business with our teams, I communicate a lot, and my team probably gets sick of me communicating to me because I'm constantly, but it's because I care, and it's because I also have high standards that I want to push through, and if I don't have those, then the team are never going to be with you at all. So effective, explicit communication is that, and that's with feedback as well. So giving good constructive feedback also, because constantly reflecting on how we can do better. So feedback's really important to give that to make sure we keep on improving and hit the targets that we want. In leadership, you want to lead by example as well. So practice what you preach. If I'm going to tell my team that they need to instruct in a certain way, then I need to show that this is how that exactly the same as how I expect them to instruct. So and as well as just doing the movements and making sure that I know what I'm doing when I'm doing a movement, and because if I'm doing it properly, then I know that I can teach it properly as well. So definitely leading by example and explicit feedback and communication is right up there.
Absolutely. Some of the key fundamentals of leadership, I think, your team can't follow if we don't describe where to go. They can't achieve that. So, absolutely. That communication is key. And I guess taking that from the sporting field as well. I mean, if there's a captain on the field communicating with the player beside you to, prevent a goal or to score a goal, exactly the same.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's constant.
It starts from the top with the coach to the captain through the team. So it's, definitely need to communicate really effectively to get what you want out of it.
100%. How do you compare the team dynamics in a sport setting like the Matildas with those in a business environment and this particular business? Are there any similarities or noticeable differences?
I think they're really quite similar, but also have some differences, different landscapes. I think they both, there's a hierarchy in roles. Naturally, in a sporting team, there's the coach, the manager, the captain, the players, that all, play a differing role, but just as an important role to achieve goals as a collective. And then in business, you've got a hierarchy as well. So your owners, your managers, your admin staff, your instructors in Studio Pilates. So whilst there's that hierarchy, everybody has the same goal in the end. We all want to achieve the same thing. However, I think in business, there are outside factors that can come into play probably that are more influential than what it is in sport. So in business, you've got the current economic state. What's happening with money outside of the studio? Can people afford to come? That's not on how well we run our business. That's whether or not people can actually afford to come to your studio. Socioeconomic status, which is up there as well. Your demographic, what people are like within the area as well. So I think there are definitely outside factors that are different to sport that can really have an effect. And the other thing is with sport, you ride the highs and lows big time, and that's the whole team. So every player in your team rides that high and low because you are really planning for that one event, and then if that doesn't work out, then it's it's a big devastation, and then you go into training for the next one. And as a team, you're doing that together. Whereas in a business, you have your employees that work for you who are fantastic, but they don't necessarily know the highs and lows that you're going through as an owner. And they don't really need to know as well. There are some instances where they do, but other times there's no need for them to know. So I guess they're still our team players, but they don't need to be impacted as much by the highs and the lows as what you do in sport as a team.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, that roller coaster, I guess, from that highs and lows, is there, those challenges that you face in that sporting field, in that, I guess, that arena? the challenges that you face, like externally or internally within the business, any similarities, you know, if there's like a big, very competitive team that you have to go up against on the sporting field, like is there any sort of similarities that you can see within the business realm as well?
Well, I guess in business you've got your competitors as well.
Yeah.
But nothing compares to Studio Pilates.
It's true.
So it doesn't affect me too much. And I guess I really believe in our product too, and you do in sport, of course. But I think just speaking very specifically with Studio Pilates, our product is something second to none. You can't beat our product out there. So I don't feel pressured or feel scared or anything about any competitor around us, because I truly believe that what we do is the best. So that's different to sport, I think, because you're all in exactly the same. You're doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Whereas we're doing similar but better. And
Yes.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, same on the sporting field. You know, all playing soccer, but if you do it better, you win.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
100%.
It's all about doing it better and winning.
Correct. In sports, you know, competition is evident. You know, you're obviously there to win, but there's also a need for teamwork. How do you balance your competitive drive and collaborative spirit in your business approach?
All right. So you just heard me say it's about
Yeah,
winning.
yeah.
I'm pretty competitive.
We all are.
I think everyone knows that. I'm very competitive, even if we're doing hundreds and they tell us that we can't stop, I will never stop. So, competition, it's something that really drives me. I think healthy competition is really important. I think people need that. It's a healthy thing. It makes you do better. That's ultimately, it makes you push yourself and achieve things. So it's definitely there within me, but I cannot achieve anything in a business without my team and that collaboration, working together. And that's with my business partner as well, Rachel, who's incredible. She is so good at what I'm not good at. And our team work together, so that collaboration just as owners is absolutely amazing. And I feel so privileged to have her with me. And then with our team, so that's the feedback part. So, and that communication, we're always communicating with them about expectations, and working together too, because we're very aware that it's not about us. Like, it's about making sure our team is on board and enjoying themselves as well, and feel appreciated. It's really important as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That competitive drive is obviously just instilled in you. Do you know where that comes from?
I don't actually, because I think my mum and dad would agree. They're not competitive. They're not at all. They don't actually know where I came from, because when I started playing soccer, not many girls were playing soccer. They would rather me play netball, I'm sure. But I guess I had my older brother. I think a lot of female athletes tend to follow in their older brother's footsteps. So I'm sure trying to beat him all the time was there. But I remember being in school and everything. I remember wanting to win, but I feel like I'm getting more competitive as I get older. I feel like it's coming out more, and I think now when I'm 37 now, and I don't know, I guess you get older, you get mature with your thinking and what's important in life as well, and I enjoy that competitive spirit, as long as it's in a nice way. But it's a good thing, I think, yeah.
Absolutely. Now, in both sports and business, resilience is crucial, and you've shared, some examples of your resilience on the sporting field. Can you share a time when you faced a significant setback and how you overcame it?
Yeah. So the ACLs was when I was younger, and I guess, as I touched on just before, with maturity of thinking back then, you're very much thinking about yourself in sport and wanting to get back and then help your team out. So getting through that is, you've got your own prize, you want to get back in the team. So that pushes you to get your rehab done, get back in. With business, we had COVID, and that happened. We'd opened for 6 months, and then COVID struck and we had to close. I think it was for 10, 12 weeks or something, where nationwide we had a lockdown, and absolute devastation when it first happened. But you've always got to think there's people worse off, absolutely, and what you've got. You can't dwell on it. You've got to work out, how can I best use this, or you got to keep your mindset positive. A glass half full. How can I make this work? Everything's going to be okay. So it's mindset is a big thing for overcoming and being resilient with things, definitely. And I've learnt that as I got older as well. And with my husband, he's a very positive person, so he's influenced me in a lot with being positive and thinking on the bright side and how can I, don't feel like a victim, basically.
It's very easy to get into the trap of that victim mindset. It's so easy, know, and that's it's perfectly understandable. But I think you're the opposite. You've obviously got a champion mindset, one that you're always pushing to do more, to work harder, to achieve more, and that is clearly instilled in you. So much respect.
Thanks. Yeah. I actually wish I could. If you could be an elite sportsman at 37 or 40, I don't know what it's like when you get older, because I'm not old yet, not older yet, but you could be such a better athlete because you're different mindset and different priorities in life and appreciation, all of that. Yeah. It's phenomenal that we hit our peak at the young age when we shouldn't. We should be later because the achievement would be so much higher.
Yes.
I reckon.
Yeah. Appreciate it more.
Do you agree that?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Certainly appreciate it more and stop to smell the roses more often, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because you realise how fleeting those moments are. And you're a long time retired.
Yes, yeah.
So enjoying
long
that
time.
A long time retired.
And a nobody.
Yes, exactly. So, embracing those moments, embracing that journey, 100%. And I think it's the same in business as well. And embracing that journey. It's just a different journey ultimately, smelling the roses along the way, taking that time and realising that the destination is a bonus. Really the journey is the gold medal. Yeah, absolutely.
Enjoy the ride.
Yeah, 100%. So as a former athlete, how important is mentorship or coaching been in your business career? How do you implement these elements into your leadership style? Is there anything that you've, role modeled from the sporting days and brought that into your business?
I think mentors can come from so many different people in your life, not just a professional mentor as such or a titled coach or something like that. I've been lucky. My parents are fantastic mentors. My husband, amazing. My friends, I've got certain friends that I look up to, and I think, I kind of, they lead me to what I would like to be in a certain aspect. So those people have helped along the way as I've grown up. Now with business, I've got Rachel and Stephen, our business partners, and I came into business with no business experience, nothing. I literally just came in here and thought, right, I'm going to create a really happy atmosphere and love what I do and make sure everybody loves coming in here, and that's my business plan, basically.
It's a good plan.
Yeah, it is, but a bit naive because I really didn't care about numbers or anything like that. So I've learned a little bit along the way, but now with Rachel and Stephen, who have business experience, I've learnt a lot from them, which has been fantastic because it's all good to only care about the light, happy stuff, but you've got to check in on what's actually happening with the business and if you're actually earning any money or anything like that. So so Rachel and Stephen have been a big mentors. We also did a professional development session as well, which we brought in external source. Leading teams, and they were fantastic with our team. It was with Rachel and I, but it was with our whole team, making sure we're all on track with exactly how we want to be, and that's the expectations coming into it of how we want our team to behave and conduct themselves in our studios to ensure that we're performing at our best. So having that external source was a good thing too, just someone different to come in rather than it being Rach and I. It's nice to have an external source for the girls to kind of feed off as well.
Yeah, incredible. Setting those expectations in the business, that is something that, I guess some business owners would shy away from. Circling back to that, clear communication. How frequently do you communicate those expectations and when in that relationship with your team member?
Yeah. Well, that's a good question. I would say it has to be timely. That's the one thing I want to say is I am very much aware that there's no point in giving feedback if it's not timely, basically, if it's not pretty soon after the event has happened.
Yep.
So if there's no big events happening, there is not going to be the need for the feedback, which is a good thing. But I will constantly be, every week at least, if it's not twice, sometimes it might be every day nearly, I'll be putting something in our group chat about, this, make sure you're doing this, are you doing this, or just giving guidance with a certain movement or something like that. So it's pretty constant, and then there's just the one-on-one, so seeing them in person as well. So I try to, I attend all 3 studios every week at least once, and then I attend the classes too to touch base with the instructors as well. So pretty consistent. I think they get sick of me, but that's, they're not going to get rid of me, so they've got to deal with it.
You've obviously got an incredible culture. You've created an incredible culture within your studios. What are some of the key strategies that you've deployed to create that culture within your businesses?
I worked really hard. I'll tell you that much. When we first opened Palm Beach, I didn't have Rach with me then. That was 4 years ago. I had a team of 3, I think, when we first opened. So it was definitely understaffed, but I made it clear to the girls, like, this is my goal. I want to create an environment where everybody feels like they belong and they want to come for the amazing workout, but they want to come because they love the people that are here. So I set it from there, and then I worked really hard in that I made sure I saw, because I managed the studio, so I worked in the daytime, so not the morning and night, but I made sure I'd always see the morning instructor and I'd always see the afternoon instructor, because otherwise they're just ships in the night. They don't get to see anybody except for clients.
Yes.
And I think just having that personable interaction is really important, and I loved it. I love seeing my girls. Like, it wasn't a chore. I want to make that clear. It was 100%. I needed a room in my studio to live because I loved being here so much. So, but I think just putting that effort in goes a long way to creating that culture. Culture doesn't happen overnight. You got to put a lot of work into it. And if it's a chore, then you shouldn't be doing it, because it's not for you. I love people, so I love meeting new people, and love my girls on my team. So I think if you show the appreciation and respect to them, then it works both ways as well. So that adds to the culture and creating an environment where people want to be and they want to work there, and they respect you and they want to do well for you as well. So I think just putting that little bit of extra effort in is really important. And now we're 4 years in with Palm Beach, and Cooley's a year and a half and Burley's a few months. So our team's grown. We've gone from 3 people and now we've got about 25. So it's pretty big now. And I've sadly lost a bit of that personable kind of interaction. I have no choice. I don't have the time now, which is probably the hardest part of expansion. Because that was a really enjoyable part for me, to really see the girls a lot. But the girls have adjusted as well, and they've accepted it as well, which is credit to them with how it operates. But we still put the effort in to get the girls together and have dinners and arrange PDs and excuses just to get together. So, yeah, but it all comes down to effort, everything.
Yeah.
It's all effort.
Well, it's obvious that you instill in that culture within your team and you invest in it actively, because when I see all of your teams together, they're all hugging, laughing, having a great time together, so it's absolutely evident that culture has been created, and that culture has been created by yourself and Rachel, and you've really built a family, which is extremely impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, I love it. I really do. So, and I think if you love it, it shows as well. So, and I'm fortunate. All my girls on my team, whether they're 18-year-olds up to, I'm not going to say the oldest, in the 50s, they're all fantastic in their own way. They've come from different backgrounds, they're different ages now, different stages of life, but they're all fantastic and on the same page as you are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You get the team that you deserve, and you're obviously leading by example, and you've got an amazing team behind you. So, I think it's a real testament to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Absolutely. Next question. How has your background as a professional athlete really shaped your approach to business? Your mindset. Could you share any specific examples You know, is it goal setting? Is it, you know, just that tenacity? Is it that never give up attitude? You know, is it, you know, or being part of a big team? Like, you know, is it all of the above?
I'd say all of those. I'd bring into you said the mindset, so positive thinking as well. I think we've touched on most of that there. I think that's probably it.
Yeah, covered all the bases. Yeah. Now, what drew you to Studio Pilates, and what was your experience with the brand before you became a franchisee?
Probably a little bit different to a lot of other franchisees. I had never been a client at Studio Pilates. My sister-in-law had one up on the Sunshine Coast, and so this was in 2018. And I attended her studio just once off workout with them, and then I was very much into gym just then. I'm going to be truthful. This is exactly my journey. So I was very much into the gym, harder, better, faster, stronger, competitive, kill myself basically. run 20 Ks, doesn't matter. And then I did that workout. I was living in Melbourne then. We moved up to the Gold Coast the next year, and I fell in love with Palm Beach, the community of Palm Beach. It was literally a little community inside the big Gold Coast, you know, the glitter strip of surfers paradise. And I was teaching. I was primary school teaching, but I was only doing a few days. I had a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. So, but I said to my husband, I really want to open something in Palm Beach. I always wanted to be a business owner, but I didn't know what. I had experience in PT. I loved the gym scene, but I didn't know what I wanted to open. And then we were thinking about my sister-in-law and her Studio Pilates, and, you know, I enjoyed going to that one workout, but because I was living in Melbourne, there was no Studio Pilates near me in Melbourne, so I didn't get to continue it. So from the moment we reached out to Studio Pilates, I think it was in March that year, I just was literally full steam ahead and opened the studio in September. So, but the reason why I did that is because the franchise, the systems, the support at head office was just fantastic. They guide you along the way. They give you every step, the support, any question. They don't just take your money and go all the best. And because we'd had previous experience with a couple of franchises, different industries, or one was in a gym industry actually, another was a different industry, but they literally just took your money and said, good luck, now open it and you won't hear from us again, basically. Whereas this one was just, Studio Pilates is onto you, but in a really good way, because they have high expectations too, and that comes back into the expectations that we were talking about. So, I loved it. So then, we opened in September and went from there with no business experience and opened it up. But, it's finished teaching. So, that was my journey into opening.
Absolutely. No, incredible. You know, I appreciate you sharing. And look, transitioning careers can be obviously challenging, you know, daunting sometimes. You know, being in business can be challenging too, of course. You know, that's obvious. What were some significant hurdles that you faced when moving from sports to business, whether they be financial, maybe mindset, mental, potentially, you know, any, you know, significant hurdles that you had?
Yeah. You know, I think because I had a 10-year gap in between, you know, I finished playing, I went into uni, I was PTing and then had babies, and then we moved here. So I had a big gap, and fortunately didn't have a big hurdle really. I believe in myself without being cocky. You know, if I'm doing something, I'm doing it. So I didn't have that, should I do it? Should I not? It was just, right, let's do this. And we're into it. So I'm very fortunate to say that I haven't had those hurdles in terms of between sport and opening my own business. Yeah.
Where do you think that belief in yourself comes from?
Probably my husband, I reckon, because of his it comes back to that positive mindset. So, I'm going to say, obviously, your upbringing as well with mum and dad, definitely. But you know, more recently, being with my husband the last 10 years, he guides you. You know, you've got your ultimate partner if they can guide you in the best way possible. So he's been a big influence there.
Unreal. Yeah, very good. Look, when you first entered the business, did you envisage becoming a multi-site owner? Was that even on the horizon? And how soon after you opened your first location did you realise you wanted to expand to a second, eventually a third?
So we opened Palm Beach. We always had we knew we had the opportunity for Coolangatta. We always did. When we opened Palm Beach, and I was working so hard, and I really gave my heart and soul to this place, and I still do, and now I've got a team.
Yes.
But I think I quickly realised that, holy dooly, I could not do another one by myself. If I do something, I do it well, or there's no point in doing it. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to do something half-hearted. So once I quickly realised that, holy dooly, I don't have enough time, or I just don't have the capacity to be able to do that. I would never see my kids, basically, and my husband. I put it on the back burner a little bit. But then 2 years into owning, I think it was 2 years, Rachel came along as a client. And she attended the studio, and she threw it out to me. I didn't even really know it. And this is another chance as well, like chance of opening a business when you have no experience, and now chance of having a business partner when you really didn't know her. Really, I didn't. And she said to me, she'd come to the studio, I don't know how many, maybe 20 workouts or something, and she loved it. And she said, they'd moved back from overseas, and she said, I'm thinking I might become an instructor. And I said, oh, really? And then she said, yeah, I might even look into if there are any franchises around. And I thought, maybe should I say something? Should I not? Because I didn't really know Rach that at all, except for just seeing her in the studio. And I said, I've got the opportunity to open another studio in Coolangatta. Would that be something you're interested in? And she said, sounds pretty cool. I'll chat to my husband. So then our husbands met. We got to know each other, and it just was the best thing ever. It was just amazing how things work in life, and that's the reason why I opened another one, because I found Rach, and she's a yin to my yang. She's good at what I'm not good at. She's amazing. I love her to death. So she helped me get one up and going, and then we thought, we've got two great studios, and we've got fantastic manager. I was managing Palm Beach then. And we had a manager at Coolangatta, Eva, who's unbelievable for a 21-year-old, fantastic. And we thought, well, we'd love one more. Let's do another one. And the Burleigh opportunity came up. So we thought, let's do it. Let's do another one. So good, did it. And now we're like, holy dooly, we're outnumbered, which is hard. But now we found the balance, so it's fine. Now we've got 3 fantastic managers in all 3 studios now, which, we're very lucky to have such a good team.
Right, you've got the formula. Number 4, number 5 coming soon.
Watch your space.
Tell me what aspects of your current role do you find the most fulfilling? What are some of the most rewarding moments that you experience being a Studio Pilates owner?
My staff is a big thing. I get so much fulfillment from them, just seeing the girls whenever I can, catching up with them, doing PDs with them, getting them to learn more, but also just finding out what's going on in their lives as well, what's happening. Definitely our girls, our staff, and then the clients. You can't do this job if you don't like people, If you don't, you got no chance. So I genuinely love finding out about people's background. We've got 80-year-olds that come to our studio, and, their lives are so different to what we went through, and hearing their stories and what they used to do, just simply asking, what did you used to do for work? And they love it. They love feeling like somebody actually wants to know, So I genuinely love seeing the clients as well. They're the most fantastic people you could meet, or different ages, different stages of life, doing different things, here for different reasons as well. Obviously physically, but a lot come for the mental side as well, the emotional side, the social side too. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of difference there, which I love my studios, so I'm pretty lucky. Yeah. Can you feel the love?
Absolutely. No, and it's incredibly fascinating, and it's incredibly fulfilling. I think for me, one of the most rewarding parts is when you've changed a customer's life. You know, you've literally changed their life, made their life better, and they come to you and say, thank you for being here. Thank you for having this business and starting this business here. You know, that's really incredible. It's a beautiful moment.
It is. Yeah. It is very satisfying and heartwarming, and to think that you're having such an impact in people's lives in such a positive way.
Yes.
Fantastic. And people come to you because they want to as well. They don't turn up to your studio. It's a very positive industry to be involved in. They're not going to come to you because they don't want to, because they won't pay. Or you know what I mean? They're just not going to do it. So it's not like you have to be here.
Yes.
And I think that's a real positive as well.
Absolutely. No, I 100% agree. Very different to if you've got an injury and you go into the physio, you kind of have to go there.
Yes, yeah.
This is very different. It's very proactive. You want to be there, and that changes the energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Reflecting on your diverse career, Jenna, what stands out as your biggest and proudest achievement? Tough one.
I'm going to break it into different sectors. Sport, so a long time ago now, a bit of a has-been. Biggest would ultimately be making the Matildas. Yeah. But I think as you get older, the sense of pride comes from different things. So now in sport, I've kind of volunteered a bit of coaching for my daughter at her local soccer team, and I think I never wanted to do that because I'm too busy, right? I'm too busy. I can't do that, but I kind of put myself out there this time, and I'm loving that I can give back because so many people sacrificed for me growing up and helped me with my development, and now I can do that. So I'm proud now to be able to be involved in the coaching aspect and develop young girls and see them coming up as well, and seeing the spark they have for the Matildas as well, which is fantastic now. So that's sport. In life, I guess, as a mum, as a wife, my kids and my husband are there, definitely. They're my proudest moment in life. And then in business would be, I think the biggest is having 3 studios. That's the biggest achievement. But the proudest is creating what I wanted to create, and now with Rach. So my goal was to create a studio or an atmosphere where people felt like they belong. That's one of our slogans, right? You belong here. And we live by that, because everyone, when they walk through this studio, no matter how experienced, if you're new, even if they're grumpy, I don't care, you be nice to them. Everybody is the same. So creating an environment, and I really hope our clients feel this way, because I'm talking for them, but that's our goal, is making sure everybody feels like they belong and they are accepted, and they're equally as important as everybody else. So that's probably one of my proudest moments too, is that I feel like we've ticked that box and it's happening, but it's always a work in progress as well, to make sure that we keep that happening and communicate it. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. No, perfect answer. Looking back, is there anything that you would have done differently, or you wish you had known earlier in your business journey? Tough one.
I constantly reflect, always, or I think you have to progress. You need to reflect on your actions, what you did, how you spoke, or how you could do it better, whatever it was. Constantly doing that. So there's definitely heaps of things that I could do better, heaps. But I don't think there's one thing that particularly stands out, except there's not one big thing. I mean, I could have been a bit more interested in the numbers when we opened the business, but I was having a good time. I just enjoyed it so much, so that's okay. Yeah,
enjoyed the journey. Do you think that, for those contemplating like a major career change, obviously diving into business is can be daunting, for people. What advice would you offer based on your experiences?
I would say, choose wisely is one thing. We chose Studio Pilates because they're amazing support. With no business experience, I needed support. And they are there for you 100%. I don't know. I think that's, I think just choosing wisely. I think that's about it,
Well, hopefully you have chosen wisely. I believe that you've chosen wisely,
Thank
Jenna.
you.
And
I think so.
It is obvious that you're, absolutely crushing it, and it's so great to see. I'm so proud of you and Rach, and your entire team. You're doing so well. You're obviously a centre of excellence, and that comes no doubt from you. From the both of you, and that intrinsic drive that you have to be excellent and to instill that within your team is a direct reflection upon you and your success. So congratulations.
Thanks, Jade. Pleasure.
Well, thanks for joining, and appreciate everything you've done.
Cheers. Thank you.
You're welcome.